New information tonight on a deadly crash in central Wisconsin that killed 9 people. Clark County officials determined 8 of the 9 passengers in the van died in the crash after the vehicle was hit by a semi. One passenger of the van was taken to a nearby hospital for their injuries. The driver of the semi was also killed in that crash. Happened in the township of Dewhurst, which is between Neelsville and Black River Fall, just before 8 o'clock this morning. The preliminary reports indicate that there was a semi-tractor trailer going east on State Highway 95. It collided with a van crossing the road at County Trunk J. Law enforcement officials say none of the victims were from the area and they were simply passing through. The Clark County Sheriff's Office and the Wisconsin State Patrol are investigating.